Hey guys, happy Friday. Thanks for stopping by for another episode here at All I See is W. In today's video, we'll be covering the latest updates with crypto, specifically ETH, making a big time run up. What drove all of this, especially with the entire market, including crypto? Why did things just go up so much significantly today? We'll go through all of those details as well as me covering latest updates with BitMine Immersion Technology, BMNR stock, what my price prediction is using technical analysis, including technical analysis of ETH. How high can both ETH and BMNR go for the rest of the year 2025? Now, if you're new to this channel, I'm so thrilled that you're here. I would really appreciate you hitting the like and subscribing for more related content. And you don't want to miss out until the end, where I will be playing an epic video clip of tomlee in his forecast with ETH bypassing Bitcoin potentially. Let's begin, guys. Let's take a look at Watcher Guru post. So today we had Fed Chair Jerome Powell. He provided updates and he basically let the entire world know that, the Federal Reserve may warrant interest rate cuts. And this is very bullish. This is really going to be very favorable to like the small cap, large caps. This is really going to speed up the rate of spending, investments. This is going to boost consumer investor confidence. When you have the federal funds rate, reducing down, that will allow for the commercial banks to, take out loans. And as a result, they'll reduce the interest rates for consumers. So this is very bullish. And this is why we're seeing market sentiment increase. Stocks have been doing so well after today's announcement. Polymarket, yesterday it dropped down in terms of, whether we're going to have a rate cut in September, but things just reversed as soon as we heard from Powell suggesting that, it may warrant interest rate cuts. Watcher Guru posts ETH reaches new all-time high of 4,880. I mean, very bullish. We had a godlike candle happening as soon as we got the news from, the Federal Reserve. Watcher Guru posts just in 88% chance ETH rate reaches 5,000 in 2025, according to crypto prediction platform Polymarket. So that's very bullish. I mean, that's a high probability. That means, we haven't even topped out yet. 88%, that's basically saying that there's a high degree that we're going to get beyond 5,000. I think, even like if you put it at 6,000, price of ETH by 2025, it may be even above 50% or more. Mr. Crypto posts ETH is about to go parabolic. Are you ready? So we had that V-shaped bottom, like several months back. And what has happened since? I mean, not too long ago, we got to like 4,700 and then it pulled back, where the prior resistance of 4,000 became the support. And now we're looking at potentially ETH making a big time run up. Put it in the comments how high you think ETH can go in this cycle. Cody posts, give him a follow. He created the BMNR BitMine Immersion Tech. Join the channel if you haven't already done so. But he's saying Mr. Lee, also known as Funstrat, has been right on all his calls. He started the ETH bull run when Ethereum was at 2,400, called the bottom this week at 4,060. Now he's right about Powell being dovish. Tomlee, talked about Powell potentially being dovish, and you know what? It came out to be that way. And he says, reason why we all trusted him on his ETH treasury, BMNR. So Tomlee, everyone likes the CEO. He can be trusted. He's transparent. He tells the story in a compelling way, and that's why a lot of people are putting, their money, trusting, Tomlee as the chairman of BMNR. Tomlee posts ETH breaking out to all-time high if history a guide is start of a far larger upward move per market wisdom. The larger the base, the bigger the breakout. This was a pretty big base, tickers BMNR. So Ryan says, happy ETH all-time high day. Fun stress, say something bullish. Trend Spider posts Ethereum is approximately $100 from new all-time high. Tomlee taking bulls to the promised land. BMNR, we have this bull flag drawn out. And what has happened? We broke out of that descending channel. And how high can it go? We'll be covering technical analysis shortly. BitMine BMNR post is BitMine today announced ETH holdings of 1.5 million tokens. ETH holdings 1.5 valued at $6.6 billion at the price of ETH, being at, 4,323. Now the value has changed significantly after today's run up. So, 373,000 more ETH than a week ago, 1.7 billion higher than the week ago. And, if we were to, do the calculations, unrealized gains for Ethereum holdings is going to be huge. And BitMine's logo is the alchemy of 5%. BitMine Immersion is the #1 ETH treasury in the world. Let's take a look at just with the historical trends as to how, BMNR has been buying. So Tom Lee, I mean, we had the announcement like back in June, stock price shot up to like 160. Kathy Wood started buying BMNR stock as well. And what have we seen over the course of time since July? July, August, we continue to see BMNR aggressively buying ETH. I mean, now their overall market cap getting close to about, $10 billion, but with the amount of tokens they have, $1.5 million. I mean, their goal is to get to 5% of the supply. They're at 1.26% of the supply with the MNAV of 1.16. I think the MNAV multiplier will increase as Ethereum price continues to go up. So this is very bullish. It's going to look very solid as we, head into the weekend and what's to come in the next 2 weeks. I think, we're going to see some very bullish activities. Looking at technical analysis for ETH. So what have we seen? I mean, back in August 13, it got up to, that run up top and then it had a cool down and then it went all the way down to like 4,000, prior resistance, broke through 4,000. It's obvious that it has to take a pullback. And then with 4,000 being the support, what has happened since? You see the volume just ticking in today, and that's all attributed to the news that came out with Jerome Powell alluding to having interest rate cuts. And, this really resulted in the price of each just taking a big run up. I mean, this is a big candle, just seeing how it went from like, low 4,000 all the way up close to 5,000. You see the MACD reversal, bullish divergence. So, we're going to continue to see ETH potentially break into 5,000. Is it going to be this week, next week? It's going to be coming. As we look at ETH's price breaking out, and I'm forecasting, we're going to get somewhere around that 7,800 on a moderate scale. Some people are saying like 16,000, 20,000 in the year 2025. All of that's within play. I don't have the magic 8 ball, but I really do think that we're going to get to at least, 8,000 by year end. Think about BMNR. How high will BMNR stock go? Let's say if ETH goes to 5,000, if it goes to 7,800, where is the price going to be going? Just based on the technical analysis, yes, when we had the news when BMNR, pivoted from becoming an immersion miner, where there's lots of CapEx in competition. Instead, they pivoted to become the very first e-treasury company, and the markets loved this idea. That's where all the money inflows came in, volume started increasing. It went from like $4 all the way to $160. What has happened since? A big pullback, relative strength had to cool down, and it was until, it reached like $29. It ran back up to like, getting close to that top of 72. What are we seeing? It's hovering in this bull flag right now, consolidating. Relative strength is in the 55 range. It hasn't broken out yet. I think it's just going to be a cup and handle formation with this bull flag breaking out. I think in the coming days, weeks, we may very well get to that 77, $88. We may very well break through this range or consolidate. This becomes the resistance, pull back to support before that next leg up. Obviously, we know that prior resistance from the run up top is 160, but I think as we scale out through until 2025, BMNR, the sky's the limit. We could even see triple digits coming for the stock.
So keep in mind that the Genius Act and then SEC's Project Crypto is the recognition that using blockchain makes Wall Street faster and more efficient. I've seen it at BitMine because like when we get the cash, the minute it touches the blockchain, it moves we have much better visibility, and it's much easier to move, to actually track the money. The wallets are all tracked. And this is like 1971, because in 1971, the dollar went off the gold standard.
Yeah.
And everyone said, oh, I'll buy gold instead. But remember, the dollar suddenly became a fiat.
Yeah.
And Wall Street innovated because they said, now we have a dollar. Let's make sure we can move the dollars efficiently.
You don't need to move bars of gold to match the movement of the dollars.
Correct. So it created Wall Street, came out of that single act in 1971. So now, 2025, Project Crypto from the SEC and Genius Act is saying, Wall Street, take advantage of this new technology to make Wall Street a tech industry. But they're all choosing to do it, or the majority are choosing to do it on Ethereum. Ethereum is a smart contract platform and has what they call EVMs, Ethereum virtual machines. So you can do basically a lot of smart programs and contracts. That's where Robinhood is doing their stable coins, the tokenized products on top of Ethereum.
How big could ETH get? I hate the term market cap because it's not applicable. Your company has a market cap. ETH doesn't have a market cap. It has a market size.
He has a network value.
What is the current value of all the ETH in the world? How big do you think it could get? Because working backwards, that's what the 5% stake in ETH, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what do you think? It's about 480 billion right now of fully diluted network value.
Okay.
But
is the supply contracting or not yet?
It's actually growing about 1%.
Growing 1%.
It's slower than Bitcoin's inflation rate.
Okay.
It's actually a third of Bitcoin's inflation rate.
Okay. How big do you think that could be?
Well, I think that there is a very high probability, I'm going to say maybe even 50%, that Ethereum's network value will flip Bitcoin's.
Wow.
Like when?
The flipping.
So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed another episode here at All I See Is W. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you on the next one. Take care.